I'm Jen, the Oregon Trail Gen X nerd. The internet hosts a wide range of fandoms. Star Wars is an old and extensive setting, and so there are multiple fandom communities with a range of opinions on different things. Today I'd like to talk about the surprising amount of welcome that I've received from the hashtag Save Ben Solo community, even though I'm very much not a traditional member. I'd like to give you 3 examples of things that they're doing that I think are pretty cool and might help you to understand why they probably aren't going away. Important things to note for history's sake. It was about 2 weeks ago that actor Adam Driver let Star Wars fans know that he and director Steven Soderbergh have been working with Lucasfilm on a Ben Solo movie. And it had gone through every level of approval, but was then stopped by parent company Disney because CEO Bob Iger said he couldn't understand how Ben Solo was alive. Note that apparently Dave Filoni, who is in charge of Star Wars canon, had already approved the script, and there are lots of death cheats in the Star Wars setting. Coincidentally, I had just finished watching the sequel trilogy back to back for the very first time. I had honestly probably been avoiding it since 2019, since like many fans, I was pretty upset by the ending of The Rise of Skywalker. I was upset for 2 reasons, for context. The first was poor storytelling. Kylo Ren was a great villain, and he was turned into a plot device. Ben has to be there to save Rey at the end. Okay? And then the 4 minutes of Ben that we got were spectacular. They were beautiful. And then he was nerfed. Bad storytelling. The second reason I was upset is that I believe it was a bad business decision to introduce us to Ben Solo, because many of us have been wanting to meet Ben and invest our movie dollars and our merch money into Ben Solo stuff for pretty much our entire lives. So, poor business decision. As an FYI, I was not into the possible romantic subplot that is in the sequel trilogy. More on that later. So this fall, I did a deep dive into Adam Driver's filmography because I was looking for more of that magic that was his Ben Solo performance. He had only 1 word of dialogue, and all the rest of the character development he had to do was through body language. It was genius because he gave us an entirely revised person, full of his own unique personality and way of being, but still very consistent with what we had seen before, in only 4 minutes of screen time. That's some very good acting. In full transparency, I ended up watching everything that Adam has done because I'm a completist. My mother didn't raise a quitter. So I finished everything with Girls. I know that was backwards, but I finished with Girls only about a week before the Associated Press article with Adam's bombshell in it. And I was genuinely heartbroken, again, for 2 reasons. First, that a movie that I really want to see had been canceled. And second, that a very good actor had gone to some pretty exceptional lengths, including recruiting his own director and contributing to a story, only to have it unreasonably shut down after it had already begun pre-production. At least that seems unreasonable to me from what Adam reported about the conversation, sing it with me, in the room where it happened. So, as one does these days, I went looking for people I could be upset beside. I live in a small town and in a community of people who are only willing to talk about things like Star Wars in quiet places. To find people with whom I could share my disappointment more broadly, I had to go online. I started a blog where I could rant about things by myself, but I still wanted to exchange ideas about this canceled movie, The Hunt for Ben Solo. I reduced my social media accounts some years back, so I was down to Facebook for family stuff and LinkedIn for professional stuff. So I had to explore where I would identify my online community. I started with Reddit, didn't feel attached to anything that I saw there. I had no real interest in going back to Twitter or X, so I figured I'd try Blue Sky. I interacted with a few people, shared an idea that might be fun, and suddenly I'd been invited to a Discord server. People from all over the world had begun finding each other and working together to try to keep this bombshell in the media. After all, Luke Skywalker himself told us that no one is ever really gone. Here are 3 examples of things that the Save Ben Solo community is doing that I think are worthy of sharing with the internet so that you understand why they aren't going away. The first is this hashtag Save Ben Solo crowd are passionate folks. Passion often brings with it creativity, and these folks have a lot of ideas for getting media attention. There have been letter and email campaigns, a social media campaign, and in-person and online meetups are planned to demonstrate that we'll put our time and our money where our mouths are. No doubt you heard about the airplane that flew over Disney's Burbank, California studio, flying a hashtag Save the Hunt for Ben Solo banner. A private citizen paid for that. Then there was a billboard in New York City, also paid for privately. Again, folks are putting up their own money for stunts and events to keep the conversation going. And there are plans to continue and remind Disney that they have a large fan base who will pay. On Discord, in between planning and messages about campaigns and events, we're talking about favorite scenes and sharing memes. And even when there's disagreement about something, we're courteous. No one yucks someone else's yum as long as it's polite. It seems like there's a pretty clear big picture in mind. There is a Ben Solo script approved by Star Wars experts at Lucasfilm. Adam Driver was excited about being in it, and he even found an incredible director in Steven Soderbergh to do the whole thing. At this point, we just have to get Bob Iger to put his pride aside and see that there is money to be made on this movie. The second thing, the hashtag Save Ben Solo crowd are social justice minded. Whether or not he meant to call us to action, Adam Driver's revelation got our attention. Some of us have been waiting to meet Ben Solo our whole lives because we have never not known the Han and Leia love story. We would like to spend our money on Ben Solo movie tickets and merchandise. But since that's not coming yet, the community is fundraising for humanitarian relief for children in Palestine. Why that cause? I don't know. I joined later. But certainly it's one of the most frustrating world crises right now because it's human-made. We can't blame any natural disasters or any indirect causes for the human misery that's going on there. The third thing, the hashtag Save Ben Solo crowd, they're not going anywhere. These folks have been here since The Force Awakens, 2014. You can see it going all the way back there. There are traces that you can find through the fanfic on the internet. YouTuber L Evil Eye did a thorough analysis of the fanfic history associated with the shipping that has gone on for Kylo Ren or Ben Solo and Rey, and I'll link that video in the notes below. The too long didn't read summary is fanfic started early and it's still going strong. As I said at the start of this video, I feel like I'm an odd one out in the hashtag Save Ben Solo community because I'm not a Reylo. We have similar enough wishes though, so I'm making my way. Since 2014, we have all wanted to see Ben Solo give up the Kylo Ren persona and redeem himself. We got the first part in 2019, but we were robbed of the second part, the redemption. And we've been frustrated about it ever since, because the Ben-demption story could have been a whole trilogy in itself. Though, I mean, we'll settle for one movie as opposed to none. How do you atone for billions of lives that you are directly or indirectly responsible for ending? It's bananas. Ben would have to spend the rest of his life working on redeeming himself. Killing Ben at the end of The Rise of Skywalker was an oversimplification so that Disney wouldn't have to deal with the themes of atonement and redemption. That in itself is terribly disappointing because the whole Darth Vader Anakin plot of the original trilogy was built around redemption. And we loved it, and we still love it. So it would make sense to do it again. So there you go. There's a significant and welcoming hashtag Save Ben Solo community on the internet. They were there before we found out about the canceled movie, and now that we know about it, they're definitely not going anywhere. You can search hashtags like hashtag the hunt for Ben Solo, hashtag save the hunt for Ben Solo, and hashtag save Ben Solo to find out what's going on. Please participate in the email writing campaigns and the social media sharing campaigns if, like us, you would like to spend your hard-earned money to see a Ben Solo movie, because that might be what changes Disney's mind. So, what did I do? Well, I fell into a deep Adam Driver filmography. Nope, I did not. Let's try that again.